Welcome to Real World AIP. I'm Stacy and tonight I'm making cheese, golden beet cheese that you can make cheese sticks with, block cheese that you can shred, cheese slices. I felt the need to insert this little tidbit in the video while I was editing. This is not a normal Real World AIP recipe. This is me playing mad scientist in the kitchen. I just felt the need to develop a really authentic tasting shreddable cheese, so it takes a few steps. So yeah. It's not typical of me, and I promise I won't get into the habit of making complicated recipes, but this one is. It's not that crazy, but it's definitely not what I'm known for. Anyway, I hope you like it. So first thing I did, I got 2 bunches of golden beets because I thought that would be a pretty color for my cheese. If you can't find golden beets, you could make regular beet cheese. It's gonna, not be the color of cheese. Or you could use carrots. Carrots would be a good substitute for this. So I just put the beets in my Instant Pot for 25 minutes on manual. I just got done releasing the steam. I'm gonna let these cool just a little bit, enough to handle. So this is exactly 2 pounds of cooked, peeled golden beets. I'm just gonna chop them up. And I'll pop them in my measuring cup just in case you don't have a scale at home and you want to go by, how many cups. So it's a heaping 2 cups. So yeah, it's just at 2 cups packed in, or like, 2.5 cups. I want to process these while they're still warm. Let's see if we can actually puree these without adding liquid. This recipe is going to have a total of 4 tablespoons of oil. So we're going to put 2 tablespoons in each batch to help it puree. Avocado oil is good because it's got a nice neutral flavor, although I don't mind a strong olive oil flavor. While I'm at it, I'm also going to add the juice of 2 big juicy lime wedges. It was about a heaping tablespoonful. Maybe just a little more beet since there's extra liquid in this one. I wish there was a bullet that could do like a double batch. Well, there probably is. I'm going to put that in a bowl. It's going to be big enough to mix both batches together in. Like that. And then I'm going to put the rest of my beets in here. I don't really have that many left. The other 2 tablespoons of oil. Okay. Now I'm also going to add some garlic. This is 3 little cloves or 2 big cloves. And I'll put some seasonings in this batch too. So I'm going to use a teaspoon of salt. I'm going to use this Primal Palette Breakfast Blend because it just goes really good on cheese. But if you don't have this, you could just do like a blend of garlic and onion powder. It would be fine. I'm going to put a half a teaspoon of this in. Or, use an 1/8 teaspoon each of dried garlic and onion. Also gonna use my favorite magic ingredient, tamarind powder. You can skip this step, or you can substitute nutritional yeast if you tolerate it. I'm just gonna do a 1/4 teaspoon of this. I'm just gonna add some of the already blended stuff to kind of give it a little more liquid. Make sure it blends up good. So here's the base for our cheese. Let's recap. I blended a pound of cooked golden beets with 2 cloves of garlic, a teaspoon of salt, a half a teaspoon of Primal Palette Breakfast Blend, or substitute 1/4 teaspoon each onion and garlic powder. And then I added a 1/4 teaspoon of tamarind powder, a heaping tablespoon of lemon juice, 4 tablespoons of avocado oil. That's in here. I had to blend it in 2 batches. That's the totals. Moving right along to our next step. To my rinsed out bullet, I'm going to add 1 cup of coconut milk, 1 cup of that, and 1 cup of filtered water. Oops, I spilled some. This is way too full. So, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'll do half at a time. So I'm using this Agar telephone brand of Agar powder. This is 25 grams. Which comes out to about 2.7 tablespoons or 8 teaspoons of Agar powder. And yes, this is AIP compliant. It is not related to guar gum. So I'm just going to dump half of this packet right into this cold mixture of coconut milk and water. I want to get this blended up really good. I'm going to pour this right in a saucepan, and I'm going to process the other half. So there we go, with the rest of the coconut milk water mix, the rest of that packet of Agar. Also, I'm just going to set this aside for a second. One more little step here. I'm also going to take some arrowroot flour into a little bowl. I'm going to make what they call a slurry. I'm basically just going to add 3 tablespoons of arrowroot powder. To that, I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of water. Cold water or room temperature. And just mix it together so that way when we add it into the hot liquid, it's not going to be all like clumps and lumps. It's pre-dissolved. That's why we're doing that. So, I'm going to take my coconut milk, water, arrowroot blend. I'm going to boil it. I'm going to boil it on high. Bring it to a boil. Look at how thick this is getting. So I'd say that was boiling. And I'm just going to put it down to medium heat, which is about 275 on my induction cooktop. I'm going to let that go like 2 minutes. And then at this point, I'm going to add in my arrowroot slurry. Oops. Make sure you mix it first as it settles to the bottom. Mix it, add it in, get it mixed in good really quickly. Just like so. Now this is going to get even thicker. I gotta quickly get this mixed in with the rest of that stuff. Get it mixed in good. I'm gonna throw in some chives. What happened to my whisk? Anyway. I'm seriously sitting here like eating it with the spatula. It's cheese sauce now, but it's not going to stay cheese sauce for long. I'm going to make some sliced cheese and some cheese sticks. I'll even throw some in this muffin tin. Here we go. Just make sure you work quickly, because unlike gelatin, this stuff will set at room temperature. And you don't want to be playing around with it when it's like halfway set, because then you could mess it up, so. You don't even have to stick these in the fridge. They'll set at room temperature. I'm going to stick them in the fridge because I want them to hurry up so I can make my cheeseburgers. Alright, let's see what we got. My cheese discs I used. I made some burgers, but look at this. It's got a great texture, holds together very nicely. So, anyway, these are my little burger discs. Cheese sticks came out great. Let's break out the cheese shredder. You shouldn't have any trouble getting this out of the pan. If you do, you can, put this in warm water for a second. Beautiful block. Let's just slice into that. Look at that. So you can make slices. I just want to show you that you can actually shred this. You can age this in the fridge, and what happens is it loses moisture and it just kind of becomes more concentrated and more cheese-like. After 5 to 7 days, it's like absolute freaking cheesy perfection texture. Not that this texture is bad, but try aging it like this. Just leave it in the fridge uncovered, and I think it'll blow your mind. You might be wondering, will this melt? As an experiment, I stuck this cheese stick in the toaster oven. It just kind of, it keeps its shape. Maybe I just didn't leave it in there long enough. For the record, this does melt. I left it in there a little longer and it all melted. And there's all kinds of cheesy goodness under that top layer that kind of got like thicker. That is just melted cheesy goodness. So there you have it, AIP cheese. If you like this video, subscribe below. I put out new videos every Thursday. I also put a whole bunch of little clips of my everyday AIP life on Patreon. There's a link to where you can view those below. Enjoy your cheese.